The frosty winter mornings of Leeton are a world away from the Pacific Islands. But that hasn't stopped this region of New South Wales from becoming a safe haven for former palm workers. So why have so many ended up in this part of the Riverina? Welcome to episode 2 of Palmed Off. In this special series of Follow the Money, the Australia Institute investigates the plight of palm workers who come to Australia under the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Program, known as PALM. I'm Morgan Harrington. Hi Ken, how are you?
Hi Morgan, welcome.
Ken Darchie is from Welcoming Australia. He advocates for former palm workers who walk away from the scheme, often because of mistreatment. This is called disengagement. Many disengaged workers come to the Leeton region. Ken sees himself as part of a long tradition.
I would go back to the history in the area. Post-Second World War, there's a long history of newcomer settlement right up to the present moment, particularly informed by arrivals through the PALM scheme. There is a prevailing deep conviction by community members and the like that there are certain things that are just right to do for everyone else, particularly newcomers. Case in point, you could have someone who disengaged from their employer out in Catherine in the Northern Territory, but because they've received word that their fellow nationals are here, but they enjoy at least a better environment in terms of work-related supports and wider community support, they would run for safety this way.
Over more than 6 years of advocating for migrant workers, Ken has worked closely with Paul Matham.
I'm the president of the Leeton Multicultural Support Group, and I was the previous mayor of Leeton for 16 years and served on local government for 34 years. We wish that all the palm workers come here were all gainfully employed and all things were happy. But what we see in the ones that come to see us are the ones that are being, if you like, they're seeing that they're being mistreated. In some cases they're being used, and in some cases they're treated like second-class citizens.
As night falls on Leeton, Ken introduces me to a group of people from the Solomon Islands. They came here on palm visas, but made the tough choice to leave. This means they broke their visa conditions and their status in Australia is uncertain at best. They tell me their story over takeaway pizza.
When we experience many things, so our group going to face the farmer, like the owners of the farmers. And when they raise their concern, they just say to them that if they don't want to work, they will send them back home.
This woman tells me her employer took big deductions out of her pay for the first 6 months of a 9-month contract. Then, in the last 3 months, she wasn't given enough hours to make being in Australia worth her while.
And we come for 9 months, and so they deduct us for 6 months. And after 6 months, there are 3 months left. The hours are reduced. Unlike we work 8 hours in 6 months, but when it came to 3 months left, we just work 4 and 3 hours.
So you can't earn enough?
Yeah. So sometimes we left with $80, $90 for a week.
Everyone in this group was unhappy about how much money their employer deducted from their wages to cover accommodation, transport, and other costs employers wanted to recover. These deductions are permitted under the scheme, but they can leave workers with very little to show for their hard work. One man was charged $150 a week to share a house with 22 people, 11 on each floor.
Everything with that house that we stay, there are upper floor and down floor. Then we 11 people stay on top, like dormitory.
For how many bedrooms in the house?
3 bedrooms.
11 people in 3 bedrooms.
Yes. We're like a hostel, stay like hostel.
How much money?
For 150 for one person, almost 1,000 plus. They want me to on the top floor for 1 week, and also down floor, another 11 people.
11 people on each floor.
Yeah,
Upstairs, 11 downstairs, 11 upstairs.
maybe around 3,000 plus. They take in 1 week. Then there's no really privacy there because we're scattered around and we heap up together in one house.
So you decide to leave.
Yeah.
When I was in Vanuatu, I heard similar stories from John, who spent 3 years in Australia working on a palm visa. He put deductions at the centre of his problems in Australia.
We had deductions going for 9 months. And every time we went up and asked our employer, they couldn't give us a solid answer. It got to a point where the workers disengaged because of the deductions.
Okay, so how much would you have left after the deductions? How much would you get paid?
$300.
For how much work?
A week of work, 38 hours. But if you remittance that money back to Vanuatu, that's only like $240.
In Leeton, these men and women have more control over their lives than they did when they worked under the palm scheme. They work picking oranges and get paid a piece rate. This means they're paid for each orange they pick, not by the hour. Piecework is problematic and it can lead to underpayment. But in Leeton, as one worker explains, they have more freedom to work at their own pace than they would on an hourly rate.
When you're picking orange, it's like just depend on you. No supervisor like watch and stand behind you and force you, do this, faster, like that. But when you pick orange, it's free to do anything we want. If you want to rest, just sit down. You want to go home, just go home.
These people are on bridging visas, which can be revoked at any time. Some of these visas include working rights, but others don't. And many people who disengage from the palm scheme don't have a visa at all. Do you feel safe in Australia?
Not really, because those results, they will cancel it anytime they want.
The churches of Leeton are helping to pick people up when they fall through these gaps in the palm program. Ian Bull is a member of St. Peter's Anglican congregation. He plays the trumpet in the church band. His church is helping people come in from the cold. Literally.
Our church has got an op shop that's attached to it, and these guys tend to, with girls and guys, they tend to turn up in shorts and thongs. You know.
What was it, minus one this morning?
Yes. Yeah, so when they first turned up, Father Robert would take them straight to the op shop and say, open the op shop up out of hours and say, find a coat, find a pair of trousers, and set them up that way.
Ian is full of praise for the contribution these people make to his church.
These guys, like this morning, I saw the lights go on and they drive out at 5 o'clock. And they won't be home, and it's sort of dark. And at 5 o'clock this afternoon, they'll come home, and oftentimes if we got a funeral or something in the church, I'll call them, they'll come and help set the tables and the chairs up ready for the ladies to facilitate all the cooking, the plates and all everything that goes out on it. So they'll set up, if we got functions, they'll come and set up.
When I involve more on church activities, it keeps me concentrating what I am here for.
There is a lot of goodwill in this town, but why is it left to churches and community organisations to look after people brought to Australia under a Commonwealth government program? Now, the palm scheme does provide some social services for visa holders. There's a Community Connections program run by organisations based in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. And there are Cultural Liaison Officers, or CLOs. But there are just 19 CLOs for the entire palm workforce. That amounts to one for every 1,711 palm visa holders. In the absence of enough government support, grassroots organisations struggle to fill the sizable shortfall. This concerns groups like the Australian South Sea Islanders, Port Jackson, which Imelda Davis chairs.
And where are the facilities or the resources or the outreach programs to assist that? Because English is not a first language, and they're telling us to ring hotlines and deal with all this other stuff. If you've got an issue, just ring up, it's all good. You can man those outreach services with someone who speaks the dialect or speaks multiple dialects in order to communicate with the people or the influx of people coming into those community areas. But when it comes to the crux of it, and someone's in trouble in a community, they go looking for someone who looks like me, and that's why they're resonating towards Australian South Sea Islanders in these regions.
I'm Morgan Harrington, and this has been Palmed Off, a special 4-part series of Follow the Money.
Chup chup simbe, chup chup simbe, simbe tang li tang, simbe tang li tang.
In the next episode...
So that guy put his hand inside the roller and then was trying to remove the jammed carpet. But then the supervisor switched on the crusher without getting a thumbs up from him or the other person.
So what happened to him? Could he use his health insurance?
So his health insurance was not the one that could cover a broken arm. They just quickly take him back to the nearest airport, flown to the available international airport, and taken back to the country.
Palmed Off was written and produced by Morgan Harrington, with production and script advice from Stephen Long. Sound production and engineering by Simon Branthwaite. The song you have heard is Mumbwe from the album Sorusian by Ni Vanuatu artist Tio, with thanks to the Wantok Music Foundation. This podcast was recorded in Canberra, on the lands of the Ngunnawal and Ngambri peoples.